seen it before. It turns truth into lies. Oh, but I won't back down. I must stay on this road. I gotta know what I'm about. Goes up and turns back down. We're all looking for the moment when we're getting used to not knowing when all the pieces fall in line. Oh, it goes up and turns back down. I keep searching for signs in my dreams back then, and I don't know how to stop, 'cause it brings back the feeling that I can't reach the top now, even if I don't know how. It brings back the feeling that even if it all goes down, in the end I'll be alright. It brings back the feeling. It brings back the
And we are live. Welcome, everybody. So glad you are here with us today. I'm Jonathan Milligan, author of the new book, Your Message Matters, How to Rise Above the Noise and Get Paid for What You Know. And I'm excited to be doing this interview showcase all week long. All week long, we have entitled this, Live Your Passion. Because more than ever, I know 2020 was a rough year for many of us, and it created a lot of uncertainty. But kicking off this new year, I want to put the message out there that I want you to decide, go ahead and choose to live with passion, that you're going to live your passion out, whether that's maybe blogging. Maybe you've been wanting to start a writing career for a long time. Maybe you've wanted to write a book yourself. Maybe you've wanted to start a podcast, or speak, or coach others in some way or some format. You want to use your story in a big way, then this is the place to be. Market Your Message is where we help messengers rise above the noise and get paid for what they know. And we're going to be interviewing people all week long. I have brought stories of people who I've featured in this book, along with people right here in our community, that they're in the trenches as we speak, working and building their business. Some of them, it's a side hustle. Some of them they've got a regular 9-to-5 job, and yet they've got this passion on the side. You're going to be hearing from people at all different levels today. So go ahead, let us know you're here. Tell me your first name, where you're watching from. And if this is the first time catching us live, just put the word new into the comments as well. We're so glad. It looks like we've got people watching across all 6 locations. We're glad that you're here. And all of it's coming in to my headquarters here. So regardless of where you're watching, if you comment or you have a question, put it in the chat and I'll be able to see it over here. All right. So far in our interview showcase yesterday, I featured 2 people that came from the book. They featured their story. One of them was Carrie Oberrunner, an amazing story about a pastor. He used to be a pastor. Before he was a pastor, he was once a suicidal teenager, went through this journey of overcoming that and started deciding to write books for a living. Well, he's like 8 books later, he's created multiple 6-figure businesses and really is helping people in a big way. So go check out on the YouTube channel or the Facebook page. You can scroll back and hear Carrie's story about how he's coaching and writing for a living. And then last night I brought on Bob Loddick, and Bob is a good friend of mine I've known for many years, and he was once a corporate employee who wanted to get out of the rat race. And so on the side he started sharing a proverb each day. And little did he know that was actually a blog, and he wanted to share wisdom around personal finance. Well, long story short, he has created a business for himself, and he's been in business for quite a few years now, where he helps people with their personal finances, and you can find his story also. Today, in just a minute, I'm going to be bringing on Sherri Donohue, and I'm really excited to have her here. And she's a multi-passionate entrepreneur. She's got a passion for a couple of things that I'll let her tell you more about it. But we're going to bring her on in just a second here, and that's what our feature is going to be. And then come back tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern, and I'm going to be featuring another person right here in this community, another female blogger. Her name's Laura Ann King, lauraannking.com. And she's doing some amazing work in writing around parenting teens who are dating, on around marriage, on smart living and making good decisions. You're not going to want to miss that interview tonight at 8 p.m. So I see some people saying hello today with us. Go ahead and again, if you guys are watching, let us know you're here. The only way you can let us know is by putting your name, where you're watching from, in the comments so I can say hello to you. We got Lisa tuning in from Kentucky. She is here hanging out with us. And I don't know your name. It says Drama Queen. I love it. But it's Olaf from South America. So hello back to you as well. We've got people watching from all over the place today and many more of you as well. Thank you guys for tuning in with us for a little bit. We're just going to have a casual conversation. We're just going to sit here, have a conversation, talk about how do we take our story, our passion, our message, and begin the process of putting it out there for others to view. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring on Sherri right now. So Sherri, welcome. I'm glad you're here.
Oh, thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. Well, we are excited to have you here with us. And I want to first allow you the opportunity just to introduce yourself to everybody and let people know a little bit about what you are up to.
Okay, well, I'm Sherri Donohue. I am from Alberta, Canada, and my website is trailrunnersjourney.com. And on the website, you will see a picture of me on top of a mountain. And one of the things that you will recognize is that I'm a strong and sturdy runner. I'm not the typical. So here I am, a strong and sturdy runner. I am also older. And what I train for is the ultra marathon. I train for the 100 milers. So I am not exactly typical. The other thing you'll notice is I am a glass artist as well. So I'm a glass artist. My specialty is memorial art. And so how do these two fit together? Well, they do, because the running fuels my creativity. And as far as my creativity, it's I got to have something to think about when I'm running. So yeah, they fit.
I love that. And I tell you, as someone who's never run a 100-mile marathon, I have the utmost respect for you. And I can only imagine, and I think this is a lot about what you talk about, I can only imagine that the mental game that you have. I know I have a mental game when I'm over 5 miles, and I've run over 5 miles, and you know, I'm typically, I like to jog about 3 miles a day, but I know when I get over 5 or 6 miles, I'm starting to, you know, mentally check out, and that's just me. I know everybody's different, but I can only imagine the mindset's got to be the huge thing for people in training for something like that.
It's actually 90%. It's 90% mental, and yes, you still have to train.
Yes, that's so true. So I love it because you embody like the spirit of the message of this book, which is to help people like put away a lot of the excuses you might typically have. Like you said, you're not your typical runner. You said I'm not a 20-year-old anymore out there and running. And yet you've got this amazing picture, and you guys should all check this out, trailrunnersjourney.com, of you standing on top of a mountain. I mean, that is so amazing, so awesome. I love it. Can you tell us a bit about maybe the backstory? How did you get started with this business in the first place?
Well, actually, strangely enough, I used to blog when I was in Kung Fu, and I was in the process of going for my black belt. And I was not a runner since I was in high school or school. I found running, actually, it found me after the age of 50.
Mm.
So it ended up being that while I was in training for the black belt, I found out I had to run 2 kilometers and I thought I was going to die. And during one of my training sessions, it's just, it was almost like a lightning bolt says, no, you are an endurance athlete. So as I started, I found out I just had a love for it. And through that whole process of finding out the distance I could go and realizing there's a void in the running community of people that start later in life that aren't the typical I'm going to say typical running size and love to go the distance and just went from there, carried on like, and started to basically tell my story because you know what, you're not alone.
Yeah, and what I love about that is a couple things. One is the fact that you didn't start until after you were 50. It's never too late to get started, and yet look what you were able to accomplish as someone who didn't start until in their 50s. So that's kudos number one. I think the other cool thing that I know a little bit about your story is that you've talked about the fact that there's a lot of influencers, there's a lot of trainers who are talking to those people, those elite athletes that are more at the front of the pack. But what about the rest of the pack? And I think that's what I love about
Yeah.
what you do is like you saw this need for people who are the rest of the pack. And what's so cool about that, and I talk about this in the book as well, is that identifying a group of people who self-identify is so powerful. And so I just love the fact that you're like, you know what, this is tips and advice for the rest of the pack.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. And so let's talk about some of your biggest challenges when you first got started. And I know this is what there's a lot of people listening they're trying to get started. They're thinking about getting started. They've got a new goal this year, maybe launch a blog, launch a podcast, write a book, do something creative, but yet they're kind of being held back a little bit. Or there's a lot of, I don't know what I don't know. What were some of the biggest challenges looking back that you were facing when you first got started?
Wow. One of the there's a couple of them. Number one is I'm from the medical field, so there is no creativity in the medical field. It's so regimented. This open game of creativity, it's just like, what do I do now? And realizing, what do you do when the world is your oyster? And the other flip side is people are willing to help, and sometimes it's a willing to help almost to a detriment of you should do this or you should go this way or that way. And with the glass art, well, you should create, you should make this in glass. And part of it was like, I don't like to make that. I don't. It's finding out where do I fit. Well, you should make what sells. And I realized especially in my glass art, that doesn't work. I had an experience of being successful, and then all of a sudden my sales bottomed right out because I followed the money. It doesn't work. I had to take steps back, as painful as it was. I had to take steps back and go according to what my heart and soul were speaking to me of where I should go, where I need to go, according to me, myself, my soul, and the Creator.
Yeah, that's so good. That's so very good. You need to be enjoying the process for sure. And I think that's such an important part of it. In fact, that's part of what we're talking about this week is to help people to live their passion. And I think for a lot of people, they don't know that this world exists, that anyone anywhere can influence anyone anywhere, and that you truly can take your knowledge, your experiences, your story, and start sharing it online and build an audience around it. And I think for a lot of people, they sometimes not everybody, but some people they feel stuck in a 9 to 5 job, and they're like, man, I just really want to start something that is deeper. It's more meaningful. It feels like it's making a difference and an impact. And so, talk about that live your passion piece. You already mentioned a little bit about it, but why is that important to you?
it would honestly is stifling if I don't. And to live my passion is live my passion according to me, and it's freedom. For me, it was freedom. I've been there, done that with the the restraints, and it was hard. It was honestly hard to. We've all got. Anyway, I had this dream of, oh, when I'm this is what it's going to look like. Well, exactly what it looked like. It was hard to follow that when coming from such a constricted environment, and how do I make that in a lot of ways when money also is important? So what do I do? And where do I go? And I honestly just had to really honestly surrender and let the messages come to me. How do I live my passion? Does this make me feel, does this give me energy, or does this make my chest tight? And if it gives me energy, that's the direction I go. And even though, yeah, if I'm really happy with what I'm doing right there, right then and there, I know that that feeling doesn't last very long. That the overall view is, this is where I want to go.
That's so good. And I think what I'm hearing is and I know a little bit about the medical profession. My mom was after she taught for several years as an elementary school teacher. Once we all got out of school, she went back to school and became an RN. And you're right. It's and for good reason. Obviously, they don't want nurses and doctors to be fully liberated to take creativity. I mean, they've got a regimented, process to follow and checklist, and everything's buttoned up, and it makes sense. But you're right. This is a totally different scenario where you can use your creative freedom to write about, talk about, speak about the things that you're passionate about that can help and connect other people to you. So I love that. So can you kind of think of a success or a win that you've experienced so far since kind of launching out and putting yourself out there? You bought trailrunnersjourney.com, and you got things going. And I think it's important that we celebrate our successes as we go along. Is there any kind of a win or a success so far to speak of, big or small? They're all great, that you can share with everybody that's watching right now.
Yeah, actually, there's one that came, and I am an ultra shoe ambassador in Canada. And one win that came for me is they asked to be on the Find Your Stride campaign, and I was thrilled to bits to be showcased in the Find Your Stride campaign. That was one of the biggest wins. And in my glass art, I have to say, December was my busiest month ever. And I made over 250 pieces in a month.
Wow.
And I've never done that. But yeah, and it's just, and wins are just racing where I usually wouldn't think of racing. Climbing that mountain or running in the desert. Those are my wins as well too.
I love that. Yeah, and there's a lot of kudos going out to you in the chat, by the way, over on Facebook. Pamela said, so glad to find female leaders in this field, which I am all about. I've got a daughter, and she's in her first year of college, and it's like, man, I want her to know. In fact, she's got a picture frame that we bought her. It's above her bed that essentially says, be the girl who decided to go for it. And I'm a big believer in that. Especially, we need more female leaders in all these fields. I'm sure you probably would say yes to that, especially in the ultra marathon field. Sometimes maybe it can be dominated by male trainers. And so that's awesome. And then Bella said over on YouTube, watching from Cleveland, I too started running in my 50s. So great to set a goal and accomplish it physically. So Bella, thank you for sharing that. That's such a great encouragement as well. So,
Yeah.
so Sherri, you're being an encouragement and helping people. Maybe there's somebody right now who's like, I'm over 50. I've never run before. should I exercise? Should I get out there? And we've got examples today, which I think is so awesome for sure. Um, so let's talk about what's next for you. What's next for you in 2021? Is there anything specific that you're working on right now, or that's kind of in the plans or the goals for the year?
Yeah, training, running. I would like to have live races again. That's my big thing. And there's a goal race that I have, a couple of them. One's a 24-hour in Nanaimo, and then at Nanaimo, British Columbia, and then I'm looking at one. Hopefully, when the border opens, I can come to the U.S. One in Texas. But I'm looking at building a community, particularly a community for the, I'm going to say, the rest of us, for those particularly that um, they are the back of the pack, so that it is that training is for them, nutrition, that they understand nutrition's for them, even what running, there's a lot of words out there for the running, and what does VO2 max mean, what does aerobic, anaerobic, what does all this mean when you are chasing a cutoff, or when you're out there, you're in the back few that come in. I want that community. I want to get that community going and realize, A, they're not alone, and B, there are people that do support them and surround them. And yeah, that's one of my big things. It's basically for the back of the pack, by the back of the pack, and have that, so that, yeah, it's not PhD material watered down. No, this is exactly where you need to be. This is what's exactly how you need to learn and go from here.
Awesome. Love that. So, what would you say to somebody? And there's people out there. By the way, there's some great comments coming in. Even Pamela just shared. She says, "I'm 61, not running, but long distance walking and blogging, podcast, and or in dreaming. She's dreaming big. Helping people is her goal." And so, what would you say to people, like Pamela or others who are watching right now, and they're still on the fence. They're on the fence of like, I don't know. I don't know if I have what it takes. Do I have value to share? Who am I to write, or who am I to podcast? Would anybody even want to pay attention to me? All those things that go on in all of our heads when we're getting started. So what would you say to somebody who is on the fence, almost as if maybe you're speaking to your younger self when you first got started?
Just do it. Just get started. And I love Pamela when she says, I'm not running long distance, but long distance walking. One of the things that I did, and I ran Javelina 100 kilometers in the desert. I power walked it in less than 22 hours.
Wow.
So when you think about it, like, people go, oh, I just walk. Oh, no, 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 no. You go according to what your strength is, and having a good power walk is huge, huge, because like, especially for longer races, we're not all running all the time. We're not. So whether it's a blog or what do you think, is start from where you are and look at even a few steps. And how we finish an ultra is one step at a time. And it doesn't matter if you walk, crawl, drag yourself further, it's forward motion. And the whole thing is, in this, I get stuck in this too, is comparing yourself, is just do what you can. And even that smallest step can take you a long way, and one step at a time, just one step, one step, one step. And I've been in a part of where I don't think I could finish, or don't think I can make it somewhere. I look at the next tree. Oh, I'll make it to the next tree, or I'll make it to the next rock, or, oh, there's something over there, I'll just go. And the thing is, I would say just start, and start small. Even small is better than nothing.
Yes, that's
And
great.
don't
That's
look for the grandiose. The grandiose will come and meet you.
Yes, such great advice. And I know that's being a help to a lot. I'm seeing comments, people commenting, just encouraged by your story and what you're sharing with us today. And obviously, I don't have probably didn't ask all the questions. Is there, I don't know, anything else you're willing to share or want to share? Maybe something from your heart to people that are listening right now.
Yeah, it is. Find someone who speaks to you to follow, because there's lots. Running is the same thing as blogging, and there's so many different squirrel directions you can go in, and you then go in here or going there. But then, like with me, both in running and in blogging, I found that one person who gets where you are, who understands the way, who also has gone the distance. And that is who I follow. And even though that person is an elite, they understand the process of what's going through. So
Mm.
find someone that your heart resonates with. It doesn't matter how well decorated they are. It doesn't matter if what they've accomplished, but what are they like as a person? And do they emulate your values and your message? Do they emulate your values, and how does that person click with you? Find that one person and walk in their footsteps.
That is such great advice. I know for me, that's been the game changer for me in finding mentors. Because here's what can happen. You often hear people talk about the fact that, success leaves clues. And yes, that's true. And they say, go find somebody who's doing the thing that you ultimately want to do and do what they do. But there's one piece to that I think we miss. And you hit it. You hit it like a nail on the head. And that's, do they have the same values as you? I know I see people with bigger businesses than me, but personally, their family life's in array. Their values are much different from mine. Not that I think I'm better than them. I just don't want what they got if it took what they did. So I want to find the people who not only have the success I like to achieve, but they have the double win. They have the home and they have everything that I want to have, not just the one thing. And I think that's such great advice. Well, this has been a really, really helpful interview, and I know you've been an encouragement to a lot of people that are watching right now. In fact, Christine says, Sherri, that just helped me. And I think it was the part about you sharing how you're multi-passionate. On your site, you've got both information on that long distance running, but you also have your glass art as well, because she said, I've been trying to figure out how my photography will work with my personal story of growth. And her personal growth story, she clarified it in another comment over on YouTube. Been trying to figure out how my photography fit in with my personal growth story. And the truth is, as creatives, we can include multiple passions. And I think you can definitely do that sort of thing. Because you'll always have a percentage of your audience you have a percentage of your audience that are runners that are, whoa, they're just really fascinated by your glass art. So I think that's really cool. Well, where can people connect with you more online, find out what you're up to as we kind of wrap things up?
Well, I am on Trail Runner's Journey. It's trailrunnersjourney.com. I am on Facebook as well too. Sherri Donohue on Facebook, and my glass art is Trail Runner Artist. So I'm on Facebook as well. I'm on Instagram as well at Trail Runner's Journey on
Aw-
Instagram. So you can catch me there as well.
Awesome. And by the way, Sherri put together this ultimate big race checklist. I don't know if you mind talking about it for a second, but if you guys are a subscriber to Market Your Message, I just sent an email out. That might be how you showed up here. Go back to that email because I shared a link to this awesome free PDF resource for anyone who is thinking about, you know what, I want to do a big race. Can you talk about that resource you put together?
Sure. And it's also not even for the big race, it's for any race really, because there is a lot to think about. And one of the worst things to happen is you arrive at your race and you realize the parking lot's full, or you forgot something, or you didn't realize something. You say, for example, running in the mountains and you don't realize weather clean. So what I did is put everything together in a very comprehensive checklist, And it goes from everywhere from how do you start, think about the race of race day to celebration and who to thank at the end. So it's a comprehensive guide, and it's, as I say, it can be used for a 5K. It can be used for a hike, that if you want to go for a hike or a long walk, to make sure you're prepared, or nutritionally prepared, your dress prepared, everything prepared. And yeah, it was part from my own trials, tribulations, as well as my friends as well too. And it's like, okay, guys, what did you forget? And what are some helpful hints along the way together? Because I think it's I use it, somebody else might.
Yes, awesome. So everybody, trailrunnersjourney.com, and if you want to get the link to that checklist she's put together, go back to the email I just sent, go click on that and connect with Sherri. Sherri, thank you for being here and sharing your story. I know it's an inspiration to a lot of people that were hanging out with us live today. And and we got the checklist actually over on YouTube. We put the link in there. Somebody on my team popped it in there as well. So if you guys are not on the email list, you can go to our YouTube channel, and we've got the link in the chat for you. So thanks for being here, Sherri. We're going to be looking forward to seeing how you progress through this year, and have a great day.
Great. Thank you very much, Jonathan. It was fun. See ya.
Awesome. All right, everybody. So how'd you like Sherri? Sherri's pretty awesome, right? Sherri has got an amazing story. Like I said, after 50, decided to start running. Now she's done 100-mile marathons. She's done some amazing, and only in some like deserts and locations. And then she has a passion for her glass art, which she sold over 200 some pieces in December. There's an example of someone who just took a step, didn't have it all figured out, but took a step to begin living what she was passionate about. And if you're watching right now, 2021 is the perfect time to do so. And we're going to be bringing more interviews like that. In fact, tonight, I'm actually going to be interviewing Laura Ann King. I saw her kind of hanging out in the chat. I don't know if she's still here or not, but you definitely want to come check that interview out tonight at 8 p.m. You're going to love Laura, lauraannking.com. Her brand is Smart Living, and she's passionate about helping people to live smarter, and especially in the area of parenting, dating, and just finances. You're going to love this story, and like I said in my email, I'm excited to feature 2 female bloggers to you. Great examples of you to follow. I believe we need more female thought leaders and voices out there, writing and speaking and coaching. As a father of a daughter who's first year in college, like, I want her to like go after it. I want her to go out there in a big way, and her voice matters, her message matters. And so if you're looking to get some inspiration from some female bloggers doing some amazing things, come back tonight at 8 p.m. and we'll be excited about seeing you there. All right, everybody, take care and have an awesome day. We'll see you tonight, 8 p.m. Bye-bye.